In this lesson, we will be placing the flat colors on our drawing. We've already made our sketch layer. We're going to go ahead and save him in the correct folder. Lineless bones. I'm going to go ahead and save. We're going to create a new layer, and we are going to call it skin base. I'm going to put that below the sketch and turn down the opacity on the sketch. What we're going to do first is a false color version of our finished product. False color basically helps us determine where each color is going to go before we start working on the actual color. So I'm going to use blue for the skin and start making that outline of where all the color is going to go. Actually, maybe not that low. There. We can have the collar of the rash guard come up to about there. And I think that would look quite nice. This is the boring part, so I will try to keep this as interesting as possible. I may have to do a couple of jump cuts or speed ups during some of the more tedious parts where I don't have a lot to talk about. You want to make this, once you've got the precision bits down, you want to make this pretty thick so that the next step won't be too hard. You can go ahead and color in bits that are small enough for you to go ahead and color them in. But for the larger bits, such as the face itself, I would just do the outlines. And then I can show you what you can do with that. Yeah, I'm probably going to speed this part up. Maybe put some music in. Who knows? Alright. Once you've got that, you're going to want to fill in your larger bits. You can take the lasso tool. You can use the regular lasso tool if you want, but I prefer the polygonal lasso tool. And just make a selection around the spot that you would like to fill in. I have the feather set to 1 pixel, but you do not have to do this. And just take a big brush and fill all that in. It's a lot easier than brushing it in. And it is a lot more effective than using the fill tool, because you don't have those edges that you have to go back and color over. You're going to do this for every piece, making sure you're on a new layer each time and saving each time. Just keep your hand ready to press Ctrl S every so often, and you keep doing this until you have all the pieces. Our next one, for example, is going to be the helmet, so we're going to name that helmet base. And this time we're going to use a dark green. You want to use dark colors, don't use yellow or pale pink, because you want to be able to see very accurately what you're coloring, because you don't want to leave any holes in your coloring. You don't want to leave any white marks. You want to color it in very thoroughly and make sure you're getting every single spot. So choose a nice dark color. Jump cut. I apologize for that, but my recording software decided to stop working, so I had to start this recording over again. I got a lot done in the previous recording, and I am not happy with the fact that my recording software crashed, but I am back now. The technique is basically the same that I've done for the first couple of layers. I just basically did the same thing, and what I'm doing now is going over each of the layers and cleaning up the white edges that were left over. Alright, I've stopped the speeding up of the footage because I want to talk a bit about the eyes. The eyes are something that I like to do in several layers, starting with the mask, then going on to the sclera, the iris, and the pupil. So we're going to create a new layer and call that mask base. A new layer above that, call it sclera base, and then iris base, pupil base, and finally eye shine, which is going to be the white circles that are over the eyes to make them look glossy. So I'm going to do that, and you basically do this the same way that you did all the other layers. Alright. Now that we've gotten the false color version placed down, we can get started placing the correct colors. So we're going to start with the hair because that's on our bottom layer. Going to lock the transparency. Going to find the proper color, which we are going to use about there. We're going to take a nice big brush and just recolor. And we're going to do this for all the layers. Okay, making sure we've saved. And we have got the basic colors down. Now, of course, there's some stuff left, like the logo on the shirt and the stuff that goes on the belt. So, looking at pictures on my wall as reference, I will start work on that. But before we do that, we're going to want to create groups for each color that we have on here. The eyes, we're going to start with the eyes, and we're going to put them all in one group called eyes. We are going to put all of these layers in there, including the mask. That's going to go in eyes. Create a folder for skin that we will place the skin in. Whoops. Belt. Pants. Rash guard. Helmet. And finally, hair. They need their own groups or folders because we will be working with a lot of layers. Now for the rash guard, we'll create a new layer. And we're going to call it rash guard logo. We're going to right click it and create a clipping mask so that if we accidentally go outside of the lines, it's no big deal. Of course, since it's centered, it won't be too much a problem in the first place. But we are going to use our black, or our close to black, to sketch in that initial circle. I'm going to use a bigger brush to fill that in. Again, if the space is small enough, you don't have to use the polygonal method. We're going to use a sort of almost white. Again, we're not using pure colors to make the white portion of the logo. I find this method of layering much easier than drawing a white circle and making it an outline. And then using our almost black, with the proper brush size preferably, to carefully draw in the A in the logo. And there we go. We're going to do the same thing on the belt. Alright. So now we have ended up with this drawing. Obviously, we are far from done. In the next lesson, we will work on some basic shading, working with gradients, and working within our groups.